Hello students, in the previous class we have completed a nomenclature of carboxylic acids, and in today's class we are going to learn structure of carboxylic group and preparation of carboxylic acids. Before that, let us try to remember the dicarboxylic acids. There are some 9 dicarboxylic acids and their names, and we are also having one simple trick to remember their names as well as the number of carbon atoms. You can see the screen, right? So the first one is COOH twice. So this compound is commonly called as oxalic acid, and in this you can see that the C, this is how many times? 2 times. So therefore it is a 2 carbon compound carboxylic acids. Since the name starts with O, that is oxalic acid, here we have written a simple trick, that is what O. So this O stands for oxalic acid. In the second compound we are having melanoic acid, right? So this is melanoic acid. In this melanoic acid, this carbon is here, but it is how many times? 2 times. And here we are having one more carbon. So totally there are 3 carbon. So melanoic acid is a 3 carbon carboxylic acid. Since it is called as melanoic acid, this M, right? So in order to remember that, here we are having my. And the third one, in the third one we are having the name called as succinic acid. So succinic acid, it is a 4 carbon dicarboxylic acid. So this is a C, it is how many times? It is 2 times. Here also one C, and this is how many times? 2 times. So therefore it is a 4 carbon dicarboxylic acid. The name is succinic acid, yes, right? And therefore in order to remember that, here we are having a clue for that, that is such. Similarly, in the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, the corresponding carbon atoms are 5 carbon, 6 carbon, 7 carbon, 8 carbon, 9 and 10. And the corresponding names are, for 5 carbon we are having glutaric acid G. So in order to remember this, here we are having a great, okay, this G. For 6 carbon dicarboxylic acid, it is called as adipic acid and it begins with A. So the clue is what? Apple, and this is the A. And for the next one, the 7 carbon dicarboxylic acid, it is called as pimelic acid and this is P, and in order to remember that, here we are having pi. And the next one is 8 carbon carboxylic acid. It is a dicarboxylic acid. The name of the compound is subearic acid, and here the S, in order to remember that, here we are having sweet, but we are considering this S. The 9 carbon dicarboxylic acid, the name is called as azelaic acid, and here this A stands for as, and here it is A. And the last one, the 10 carbon dicarboxylic acid, the name of this acid is sebaic acid, and here we are having the term called as S, that is the word S. In order to remember, here we are having sugar. So all you can do, that a simple trick to remember, that is, oh my such great apple pie, as sweet as sugar. Is it clear, students? Now we are having the heading called as structure of a carboxylic group. The carboxylic group is formed of 2 functional group. The first one here, it is nothing but called as a carbonyl group, and the second one is a hydroxyl group. Together we are having what? A carboxylic group that has been mentioned here. So in order to understand this carboxylic group structure and all, it is very important for us to understand some 4 points in a systematic manner. Now students, there are 2 points. The first point is that carboxylic group is a planar. It means that the carbon atom of the carboxylic group and the 2 oxygens are attached to it are which type of hybridization? Is sp2 hybridization. So you can see the diagrammatic picture that has been represented here, right? Now this I call it as what? The first sp2 hybridized carbon atom, orbital of carbon atom. This is the second one, and this is the third one, right? In the second point, you can see that the 2 sp2 hybridized orbitals of carboxylic carbon are involved in axial overlap. Axial overlap means a head-on overlap, and that results in the formation of a sigma bond with one of the sp2 hybridized orbitals of both the oxygen atom. I hope you are able to see it, students, right? So here this is the oxygen atom, one oxygen atom, and this is the second oxygen atom. So this oxygen atom are sp2 hybridized. So this is the one sp2 hybridized here, and this is the second sp2 hybridized. I hope you are able to see it. So the sigma bond is forming between one of the sp2 hybridized orbital of carbon with another sp2 hybridized orbital of oxygen on one end, and on the other end the sp2 hybridized orbital of carbon is overlapping with sp2 hybridized orbital of oxygen, and it results in the formation of a sigma bond. Is it clear, students? And the third sp3 hybridized orbital of of carbon atom is going to overlap with one of the hydrogen atom. If you see the diagrammatic picture, okay, so if at all if I take formic acid, then it becomes a H, then followed by C, then followed by double bond O, then followed by water OH. Is it clear, students? So here there is a hydrogen atom. Now this is one sigma bond and this is the another sigma bond, and here we have to speak about pi bond now. Now the pi bond is forming the overlap in such a manner such that it will be overlapping here, right? So this is pi bond formation, and this will be the water pi bond formation between carbon and that of water oxygen atom. But actually one has to recall that this carboxylic acid are involved in resonating structures, right? So if at all if I take into consideration of formic acid, now this bond, if at all if it migrates here, okay, it is a resonating structure. Now what happens, this pi bond will be moving to this oxygen atom. So therefore in the resonating form, what I can say right now is H, then followed by C. Now this becomes a single bond O, then followed by double bond O. Now whatever the H has been expelled as H plus, this H plus will be taken by this oxygen. So therefore I can write here as single bond H. So you can see that both are nothing but what are the resonating forms. So this is 1 and this is what are the 2, right? So in the first one the hydrogen has been attached to this oxygen atom, and in the second resonating structure you can see that the hydrogen atom is attached to this oxygen. It means that the pi bond once it can be formed between this carbon and this oxygen, and in the second form it can be present between this carbon and this oxygen atom. Now in the picture below you can see that I have written the brief diagrammatic representation of how the pi bond, if at all if it is formed. If the pi bond is formed between this carbon, right, this carbon and this oxygen, then the pi bond will be present here, and you can see that this oxygen atom is linked with this hydrogen, right? And if at all if this bond, if at all if it gets migrated, then this pi bond will be broken here, and this carries what, a negative charge, right? At that time we can see that the pi bond is formed between this carbon and this oxygen atom here now, right? And now this oxygen will be accompanied with what, a hydrogen atom. So therefore these two structures are simply called as resonating structures. Now the carboxylic acid may be regarded as the hybrid, okay, as a hybrid of the following resonating structures. It means that from structure number 1 up to structure number 4, if at all if it has to go, means it has to cross these two intermediates, that is structure number 2 and structure number 3. Is it clear, students? Now let us have this in case of structure number 1. In the structure number 1, the pi bond will be shifting towards this oxygen atom. It is a weak bond and this oxygen is electronegative, right? And because of shifting, now this carbon in the second structure will be bearing what, a positive charge, right? And the oxygen atom will be bearing what, a negative charge. In the structure number 2, the carbon bearing positive charge is highly unstable now. In order to remove that positive charge, the lone pair of electrons which are present in oxygen atom will be forming a bond between this carbon and this oxygen atom, due to which in the structure number 3 the carbon will not be having any positive charge, but oxygen will be usually having negative charge as it is present in structure number 2. And the oxygen atom in structure number 3, it is now trivalent, so therefore we can write one positive charge. Is it clear, students? Now in order to compensate the positive charge on the oxygen atom, now this bond will be shifting towards this positive charge. So the positive charge of the oxygen atom is nullified and the oxygen atom will now become what? Divalent in a structure number 4, because oxygen is basically divalent, and the hydrogen which has been expelled as H plus will be taken to this oxygen atom, and therefore we are having a bond then followed by OH in structure number 4. So we found that in case of structure number 1, the OH was present here, structure number 1, and that OH is present in structure number 4 here. So therefore 1 and 4 are nothing but what? The resonating structures, and these two are what? The intermediate structures. So one can basically call that the carboxylic acids as a resonating form of 1 and 4. And meanwhile, one very important point we have to understand here, students, that is in structure number 2 this carbon is bearing a positive charge, right? And a nucleophile can readily attack to this water electrophilic carbon atom, right? Because already we have learned in aldehydes and ketones. I hope you might be remembering, if I take one formaldehyde in this manner and oxygen is more electronegative, so therefore if this pi bond gets migrated here, this carbon bears positive charge and a nucleophile can readily attack to this electrophilic carbon. And we already know that aldehydes and ketones undergo nucleophilic addition reaction. In a similar manner, this carboxylic acids, if we are subjecting to nucleophilic reactions, okay, do they undergo, the question is, do they undergo nucleophilic addition reactions? No, it is not possible. Why? Because you can see that the carbon bearing positive charge is nullified by the lone pair of electrons on the adjacent carbon, and it is involved in bond formation. If the bond formation is forming here, then the carbon bearing this positive charge is not there in the carbon. In the third resonating structure of carbon, there is no positive charge. So therefore the carboxylic acids are less susceptible towards what? Nucleophilic addition reactions. Or one can say that the carboxylic carbon is less electrophilic than the carbonyl group because of what? Resonance. Now we are going to learn methods of preparation of carboxylic acids. Totally there are 6 methods, students. Now the first method is by oxidation, right, of primary alcohols and aldehydes. So basically these primary alcohols are these are oxidized into aldehydes, and these aldehydes on further oxidation they will be giving monocarboxylic acids. But the fact we should remember that the product will contain same number of carbon atoms as what these are present in the starting reactant, that is alcohol, and this oxidation can be carried with the normal oxidizing agents like acidified potassium dichromate or KMnO4. Here we are having the general reaction. I have taken here a primary alcohol, and when it is subjected to oxidation using the above oxidizing agents, so here we are removing this water hydrogen along with this oxygen in the form of what? H2O. We know that oxidation is nothing but removal of hydrogen. It is called as oxidation. So the primary alcohol, so we know that primary alcohol is nothing but OH group. When it is attached to a sp3 hybridized carbon atom, it should contain a minimum of water 2 hydrogen. Then it is called as primary alcoholic compound. So this primary alcohol is now further converted into aldehyde. From aldehydes, if we subject to oxidation using the same acidified K2Cr2O7, here we are not removing hydrogen in the form of water. We are adding one oxygen between this carbon and this hydrogen here in the form of what? OH, and that is nothing but carboxylic acid. Right? So we should understand the basic definition. Removal of hydrogen is also called as oxidation. Addition of oxygen is also called as oxidation. Let us have one example so that we can get a clear understanding. So in the example I have taken ethanol. Ethanol on oxidation, that is removal of hydrogen in the form of water, we will get acetaldehyde, CH3, C double bond O and H. Same number of carbon atoms are present in the reactant as well as the product, that is ethanol, ETHANAL. This aldehyde ethanol on further oxidation, we will be having carboxylic acid, that is acetic acid, CH3, C double bond OH, or simply called as ethanoic acid. Now in the second example I have taken benzyl alcohol. This on oxidation it loses a molecule of water and we will be having an aldehyde, and that is nothing but called as benzaldehyde. This benzaldehyde on further oxidation we will be having benzoic acid. So we understood that if a primary alcohol in oxidation gives aldehyde, and aldehydes on further oxidation gives what? A carboxylic acid. In a similar manner, if we subject the secondary alcohols on oxidation, they will be giving what? Ketones, correct? Right? And if these ketones are further subjected to what? Oxidation, they will also give carboxylic acids. But this should be carried in the presence of a strong oxidizing agents like concentrated HNO3. Why? Because we already have learned in aldehydes and ketones that ketones are resistant to oxidation. So there is a need to take a strong oxidizing agent like concentrated HNO3. And one more point we have to remember, students, that ketones on oxidation, they will be giving products a carboxylic acid. Okay, that's fine. But the product form will contain one carbon atom less than the starting reactant. Is it clear, students? Because in aldehydes we have learnt that the same number of carbon atoms will be present in the carboxylic acid. I hope you are able to see this. Okay, here we are having what? Same number of carbon atoms present in the water product. That was with respect to what? Aldehydes, but it is not the same with respect to what? Ketones, because ketones are less susceptible towards oxidation. I have taken an example of a secondary alcohol, that is isopropyl alcohol. The common name is isopropyl alcohol, but IUPAC name is propan 2-ol. I hope you are able to see this. First carbon atom, second carbon atom, and third carbon atom, right? So this compound on oxidation, we will be having a ketone, that is CH3C double bond O, then followed by CH3. So the name of this compound is acetone, or simply called as propanone, right? But these ketones which are resistant to oxidation, we require a strong oxidizing agent like concentrated HNO3. On oxidation, they will be giving a carboxylic acid, CH3 C double bond O OH, right? So you can see the reactant. In the reactant we are having now here 3 carbon, right? But in the product here we are having water 2 carbon. It means that one of the carbon atom of the ketone is lost in the form of carbon dioxide plus with the formation of H2O. So the name of this compound is ethanoic acid. I hope you have understood this, students. The second method is by hydrolysis of cyanides. Cyanides in IUPAC terminology are simply called as alkane nitriles or just what? Nitriles. These cyanides can be hydrolyzed into carboxylic acids either by treating with mineral acids like HCl or H2SO4, or by alkali, that is like sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. I have taken the general reaction, that is alkyl cyanide, when subjected to hydrolysis either in acidic medium or in basic medium, we will be getting carboxylic acid along with the evolution of ammonia gas. But students, we have to remember that cyanides can be subjected to partial hydrolysis as well as complete hydrolysis. Partial hydrolysis of cyanides will give amides. Amides are having the formula RC double bond O NH2, right? So if we are getting the product amide, then we require only one molecule of water with alkyl cyanide. Okay, only one molecule of water with alkyl cyanide will give water amides. But if I make use of two molecules of water, then it is called as complete hydrolysis. Complete hydrolysis will give carboxylic acids. So I have taken here two examples. The first example is methyl cyanide. Common name of that compound is methyl, METHYL. Okay, that is methyl cyanide, or it is also called as ethane nitrile. When it is subjected to hydrolysis by using two molecules of water, that is complete hydrolysis, we will be having the product acetic acid. And in the second example, I have taken what an aromatic cyanide, simply called as phenyl cyanide, or it is also called in other terminology, that is what benzonitrile. This also similarly, if it is subjected to complete hydrolysis, it will be giving an aromatic carboxylic acid, that is benzoic acid. And now we will be moving with the third method of preparation of carboxylic acids, that is by hydrolysis of esters. Esters on hydrolysis, it can be done with either mineral acids. If it is mineral acid, then it becomes reversible. Or if we make use of base, that is alkali, then it is irreversible. And they will be giving carboxylic acids and alcohols. But in our topic, we are interested in carboxylic acid, so I will be mentioning only what carboxylic acid. And if you see the general reaction, students, right? So in this general reaction here, I have written what? Esters. Esters in IUPAC terminology are called as alkyl alkanoate, right? So this alkyl is this part, right? That is what R dash, right? And this alkanoate is referring to this whole part, that is alkanoate. Is it clear, students? Now, if it is subjected to hydrolysis, that is what H2O, by making use of acid, then we know that it is reversible. But one has to remember that where the bond actually ruptures in ester. So in ester, what happens? This bond will be what? Cleaved. So OH will be added to this part, that is OH minus, and H plus will be added to this part. So therefore in the product what we are getting, that you can see that here I have written C double bond O, then followed by what? OH, right? And this is accompanied with alcohol, because here you can see that, okay, R O then followed by H plus it is, okay, that I can write it as what? R dash then followed by O, and here we can are having what? H. So the product is what? Carboxylic acid and alcohol. But we have to remember, students, that while studying alcohols, we have learnt chemical properties of alcohols. alcohols when treated with a carboxylic acid, they will be giving esters. That also we have to remember, isn't it? So when an alcohol is going to react with a carboxylic acid, we get esters. At that time, this bond will be broken, H, and this OH will be broken, right? And we will be having what? R, right? Then followed by C double bond O, and this carbon is linked with this oxygen, and then followed by R dash. So therefore we are getting what? Esters. So esters on hydrolysis gives carboxylic acid and alcohol. Similarly, if an alcohol is going to react with carboxylic acid, we call it as what? Ester, right? In the example below, I have taken here ethyl acetate, and when this ethyl acetate is subjected to hydrolysis, okay, by making use of acid, so therefore it is reversible in nature, then we can say that this bond is ruptured here, right? So therefore OH is added here, and H plus is added here, and we get the product. One is acetic acid, a carboxylic acid, and other product is an alcohol, that is ethanol. In the second example, I have considered an aromatic ester, that is what? Ethyl benzoate. So this ethyl benzoate, when subjected to hydrolysis by making use of an acid, then we can say that this bond is ruptured here, H plus is added to this part, and OH is added to this part. So therefore we will be getting a product, that is what? Benzoic acid, right? So this benzoic acid, then followed by C double bond O, then followed by OH, plus I can write here HO, then followed by C2H5. Is it clear, students? So in the fourth method, we are going to learn the preparation of carboxylic acid by carbonation. Carbonation means by treating carbon dioxide with that of Grignard reagent. We already know that Grignard reagents are nothing but RMGX. When CO2, that is what? Carbon dioxide, which is called as a dry ice, when it is made to pass through dry ethereal solution. Dry ether means ether free from water is called as a dry ether. Solution of Grignard reagent, it gives an addition compound. Addition compound is nothing but an adduct. This adduct on hydrolysis in the presence of mineral acid gives monocarboxylic acid. So you can see, students, that I have taken the general reaction. So RMGX, now this is called as Grignard reagent, and here I have taken carbon dioxide. Okay, we basically know that carbon dioxide, actually it is a planar molecule, but in order to make the reaction, okay, in a systematic manner, I have written in that manner. Actually the molecule will be like this, okay, linear molecule, right? So therefore in order to make the reaction in systematic manner, I have written in that representation. Now you basically know that Grignard reagent, R of Grignard reagent is acting as a nucleophile, because this metal is what? Electropositive, right? And one more important fact in carbon dioxide is this is a pi bond. It is a weak bond, so this carries a negative charge, and this carbon bears now positive charge, right? So therefore this R, which is acting as a nucleophile of Grignard reagent, will come and attack to this water carbon atom. So therefore now I can write the adduct in a square bracket. So basically it is written in square bracket, so I'll write R, then followed by C, right? So the double bond which is present vertically, I'll be writing as it is, but the one which is present in horizontal, I'll write it as O minus, right? But this O minus will be attracting this part of the Grignard reagent, that is Mg and what? X will be attracting. So therefore that part I'll be writing here now, Mg and then followed by what? X, right? So since it is an adduct, we will be writing in what? Square bracket. And this adduct, when subjected to hydrolysis in the presence of an acid, okay, in the presence of an acid hydrolysis, we can see that this bond is subjected to hydrolysis. So here I can write one H plus, and the remaining has been written in the form of OH minus. So therefore our product will be now R, then followed by C double bond O, and then followed by OH. This is carboxylic acid, and along with the formation of magnesium, right, is Mg, then followed by OH, then followed by halide, magnesium hydroxy halide. So let us have an example. So this is acting as a nucleophile. This is a pi bond, weak bond. This carries negative charge, and this carbon bears partial positive charge. And now this nucleophile will be attacking to this carbon atom. So therefore we can write the adduct, that is CH3 C double bond O minus, then with MgBr. This adduct on acid hydrolysis, right, this bond will be what? Ruptured. Here I can add one H plus, and here I can write OH minus, and our product will be now CH3 C double bond OH along with magnesium hydroxy bromide. So the name of this compound is acetic acid. In the next example, I have taken a phenyl magnesium bromide. The R group of Grignard reagent is what? Aromatic here, right? So this is a weak bond, so this oxygen carries delta negative and this carbon carries delta positive. This R group, that is AR group, okay, not R group, because it is aromatic now, and this will be attacking to this electrophilic carbon. And now we can write the adduct, right? C6 H5 C double bond O minus Mg Br. So this on acid hydrolysis, right, this bond will be ruptured here. I can write one H plus here and OH minus here, and our product will be C6 H5 C double bond OH plus magnesium hydroxy bromide, and our compound is benzoic acid. In the fifth method, we are going to learn by oxidation of alkyl benzene. So benzene is there, so that we should have what? One alkyl group, right? So such type of alkyl benzenes, we simply say that alkyl side chains that are attached with the benzene nucleus are oxidized to carbonyl group, right? So let us try to understand what is that carbon. Okay, can you see in the example? Okay, this is the carbon. This carbon is attached with what? This benzene ring carbon, right? So I want to say simply that this carbon is the benzylic carbon. Benzylic carbon can contain 3 hydrogen. If it is 3 hydrogen means then it becomes toluene. If it is containing 2 hydrogen group means then it becomes benzyl group. If it contains 1 hydrogen means then it becomes benzal group. If it does not contain any hydrogen means then it becomes benzo group. Okay, I hope you are remembering benzo group is written like this, right? So C, which is having, this is the carbon atom which is called as benzylic carbon. It does not contain any hydrogen. So our condition is that this benzylic carbon should be containing at least 1 hydrogen. Then only we can oxidize the side chain of the alkyl group that is attached to benzene nucleus into carbonyl group by using oxidizing agents like acidified KMnO4 or water K2Cr2O7. Now let us complete this reaction. Toluene, when subjected to oxidation using acidified KMnO4, then we will get our product, that is benzoic acid, right? So I will be writing here C double bond O, then followed by what? OH plus I can write a loss of water molecule. I just want to make you know that this carbon is here on benzene ring, that carbon is here, right? Now there are 3 hydrogens here. Of these 3 hydrogens, one hydrogen is here in the product and one hydrogen, 2 hydrogens are going in the form of H2O. So the difference is nothing that what you can see that here 3 nascent oxygens are added. This is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. So therefore I can just write here what 3 nascent oxygen are utilized in this oxidation to get what the product called as benzoic acid. Is it clear, students? Now let us have one more example. I am taking again one more example of an alkyl benzene, where we simply call it as what ethyl benzene, because ethyl group is present on benzene ring. So when it is subjected to oxidation using acidified KMnO4, I have already told you that the benzylic carbon, okay, this carbon will be converted into carbonyl group. So therefore just write the product, that is benzene ring, right, and that will be converted into C double bond O, then followed by OH. That's it. And the remaining carbon that I'll be highlighting with a green ink so that you are able to see this. So that carbon will be converted into CO2, right, and there are some hydrogens, okay. So altogether you can see that this is 2 and this is 3, so 5 hydrogens are there. Of these 5 hydrogen, 1 hydrogen is present here, so we should remember that there should be now 4 hydrogens going in the form of water. So I can just simply write here 2 by writing here 2 into 2 4, and this 1 hydrogen, so altogether it becomes what 5 hydrogens. Yes or no? So hydrogens are balanced. Now just calculate water for the oxygens, right? So here we are having 2 oxygen, here we are having water 2. So 2 plus 2 4, and again here this is 1 oxygen and this is 1 oxygen, so again 2. So altogether 6 oxygen. So write just simply here 6 nascent oxygen, right? The reaction has been completed. So in the next example we have taken N-propyl benzene, right, and we are doing oxidation by using acidified KMnO4. And I have already told you to remember that if the alkyl side chain, if it contains that what benzylic carbon, and if it contains hydrogen, then that carbon will be undergoing what oxidation to give carbonyl group. Okay, only that part you have to remember, students, right? So this is benzene ring now, so that part will be converted into C double bond O. I'll highlight with the green ink so that it becomes easier for you to remember, right? C double bond O, and then we are having water, and then we are having water this OH, right, and the remaining part is just nothing but converted into carbon dioxide and water. That you have to simplify yourself, right? Now let us try to count the hydrogen in the reactant. In the hydrogens in the reactant, so here you can see 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 2 7, right? Of this 7, 1 hydrogen is present here. It means we have to write still 6, so therefore I'll be writing here what 3. So now the hydrogens are balanced. Now count the number of oxygen atoms on the product side. So in this compound, okay, that is benzoic acid, we are having 2, and here I think we did not balance for carbon, right? So first let us balance for carbon. So 1 carbon that is converted into carbonyl group. So here there are 2 carbon, so I'll be highlighting with blue ink so that you can able to understand. So this is 1 carbon and this is another carbon, okay. So those 2 carbon atoms are present here. I'll be writing 2 now, okay. Now carbon is balanced. Now let us go with respect to that oxygen. So in the benzoic acid we are having here 2 oxygen. In the carbon dioxide 2 into 2 we are having here 4 now, and here we are having what 3, right? So altogether 4 plus 3 7, 7 plus 2 9. So therefore I can just simply write here 9 nascent oxygen, and the reaction is balanced. Is it clear, students? Now we are having the last method, students, and we are going to prepare the carboxylic acid from acid halides or that of water acid anhydrides. So let us first consider acid chlorides. These acid chlorides, when hydrolyzed with water, they give carboxylic acid. With water they are giving carboxylic acid, but they will be giving more easily and readily when treated with aqueous base to give carboxylate anions. and these carboxylate anions on acidification they will be giving corresponding carboxylic acids. Let us see the reaction. So acid chloride RC double bond OCl, when treated with water it will straight away give the hydrolyzed product RC double bond OOH along with the formation of water hydrochloric acid RCl, right? But if at all, if I take into consideration of aqueous base, that is NaOH, initially it will give a carboxylic acid just like the earlier one, right? But here what happens, I can write elimination of Cl minus, okay, that is a chloride ion, right? And even we can see that here there is a presence of water sodium cation, right? So it is in basic medium. Our product is water, acid now. So acid and base, they will be present in the form of salt, isn't it? So therefore there is an equilibrium establishing between the carboxylic acid and its corresponding sodium salt of a carboxylate anion, right? So there will be a formation of an equilibrium between carboxylic acid and its corresponding sodium salt of water, carboxylic acid. Now, this sodium salt of carboxylic acid further on acidification in the presence of water H+, that is we are going to do hydrolysis reaction in the presence of an acid, then we will be getting our carboxylic acid RC double bond OH along with the formation of water Na and water Cl. Now our product is carboxylic acid. Is it clear, students? In fact, it is a generalized reaction. You can take one example, and I hope and I wish that you will be doing. Now the next one, that is with respect to anhydride. First thing we should try to understand what is an anhydride. A compound free from water is called as water anhydride. So here I have taken water carboxylic acids, right? So let me write it as once again here so that it becomes in a systematic manner. Okay, these are the two molecules of acetic acid. So if acetic acid is heated, okay, then there is a loss of water molecule, that is what H2O. Now how that water will be lost, that is very important. So this becomes water H2O, right? And this bond will be migrating on this carbon atom, right? So therefore it carries a negative charge, right? And this negative charge will come and attack to this carbon. So therefore our product will be now free from water, called as anhydride. Since the anhydride is coming from acetic acid, so the anhydride is nothing but called as water acetic anhydride. Okay, now this is called as acetic anhydride. But we are learning the preparation of carboxylic acid from the anhydrides, right? So therefore let us consider now this acetic anhydride by doing hydrolysis reaction. So I'll take water H2O. Then what happens? One of this bond gets ruptured here. Okay, so this oxygen is more electronegative, so this bond will be going this side. If this goes this side, now this carbon bears positive charge here and this oxygen bears now negative charge. A negative charged oxygen will be seeking water H plus of water, and a positive charged carbon atom will be seeking OH minus of water. So therefore we will be getting our products, that is nothing but two molecules of acetic acid, CH3 C double bond OH plus CH3 then followed by C double bond OH. Is it clear, students? So this is how we have learned the different methods of preparation of carboxylic acids, and I wish that you have understood each and every aspect of methods of preparation of carboxylic acid, students. Thank you for watching. If you feel good, kindly like the video, share the video, and share among your friends also, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.